The first time she screamed at me, it was over joy. Not noise. Not safety. Not rules. Joy. It was a sunny Tuesday morning, birds chirping like they'd trained for Carnegie Hall, and my new wind chimes were twinkling softly in the breeze. Handmade by my late wife, each strand held a memory. A carved spoon from our honeymoon cabin, seashells from a Florida trip, and the tiny brass bell she found at a garage sale and called our lucky ring. When she passed, those chimes became my morning prayer. But to Karen, they were an offense. She marched up in her rhinestone sandals like she owned the zip code, sunglasses the size of satellite dishes, a neon clipboard clutched like a weapon. "You! Turn that racket off!" she barked, jabbing her pen toward the chimes. I blinked. "Excuse me," she sniffed, nostrils flaring. "Those things are violating decibel codes and are a disruptive display of emotional instability." I thought she was joking. I laughed. "That was a mistake." "Oh, you think this is funny?" she spat. "The HOA takes peace seriously. I'm filing an official complaint." I watched her storm off, lips pursed like she was holding in a lawsuit. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The next morning, 2 police cruisers rolled up in front of my house. I came outside still holding my coffee. "Sir," one officer said, awkward, almost embarrassed. "We received a report of disturbing sounds and emotional provocation." Emotional provocation. That was the phrase she used. I nearly spit out my coffee. The officers asked to hear the chimes. I gave them the green light. The wind whispered through, and the chimes sang their gentle, haunting him. One cop closed his eyes. "That's beautiful," he whispered. The other nodded. "That lady said you were blasting opera and screaming," he muttered. "We'll be filing a false report notice." But Karen wasn't done. She filed a noise complaint every single day. 34 in a row. All rejected. Until one day one stuck. A rookie officer, unfamiliar with the area, issued me a formal citation. That was all Karen needed. She posted a printed letter on every mailbox. HOA resident found in violation of auditory peace standards. Action imminent. I brought the citation to the next HOA meeting. Karen sat at the front, flanked by 2 silent board members who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. I asked for the floor. She rolled her eyes. "We have a schedule, sir." But someone stood up in the back. Ms. Hadley, 72, former music teacher. Her voice rang clear. "We vote he speaks." Hands went up. Karen turned beet red. I laid out my case, played recordings of the chimes, showed the citation. Then, I played a recording I'd made of Karen yelling at me 2 weeks prior, screaming insults loud enough to set off 2 car alarms. "And that," I said, "was 87 decibels. My chimes? 42. Gasps. Then silence. Then the twist. From the doorway stepped Officer Candelaria, one of the first cops who responded weeks ago. He'd returned, in uniform, with a file. "I have something for the board," he said. We cross-checked the dispatch logs. Ms. Karen Dubois here submitted over 30 fraudulent reports under a civilian code reserved for emergencies. That's a misdemeanor. But submitting them using the HOA's name as a legal authority? That crosses into fraud. Karen stood, flailing. "I am the HOA. I act on its behalf." Candelaria nodded. "That's not what your bylaws say, and not what the state attorney just confirmed." Karen shrieked, grabbed her bag, tried to bolt, but someone stood in the aisle. My niece, Jenna, a civil litigation lawyer. "Ms. Dubois," she said, holding up a stack of papers. "You are now party to a civil claim for emotional harassment, defamation, and abuse of municipal resources." Karen turned white. And the board? They voted right then to remove her. Unanimously. The next few weeks were a quiet triumph. Karen was charged with municipal fraud, misuse of emergency services, and HOA impersonation under state housing codes. The HOA brought in a temporary mediator, and for the first time in years, the community newsletter didn't include passive-aggressive threats or fake bylaws. My wind chimes? They stayed up. Jenna helped file the civil case, and we received news that our claim would be fast-tracked due to the evidence and Karen's prior complaints. She tried to represent herself in court, claimed the chimes triggered her migraines, claimed the sound was a psychological weapon, claimed I installed a sound amplifier hidden in the bushes. The judge looked over his glasses and said, "You mean the bushes maintained by the HOA you no longer legally represent?" Karen lost. Big time. The judge awarded damages for legal fees, emotional distress, and slander. She had to issue a written apology, and the court made her donate $5,000 to a local music therapy program. The irony? That same music therapy group performed a wind chime concert outside my house to celebrate. Children with autism, veterans with PTSD, and elderly choir members all brought handcrafted chimes, each with a name etched into it. Karen was forced to watch from the sidewalk. She wasn't allowed within 30 feet of my property anymore, but she could hear it. The joy, the community she tried to crush singing in the wind. They placed a new wooden sign beneath my porch, "Let Joy Ring." It's carved from the same cedar tree my wife planted years ago. Sometimes, when the breeze catches just right, I swear I can hear her laughter in those bells. So now I ask you, was it just about the noise? Or did something deeper echo through that wind? Tell me, when does a chime become defiance? And when does silence become surrender? After the dust settled, something unexpected happened. People started bringing me wind chimes. Some handmade, some thrifted, some passed down from relatives. They came with stories. One from a mother whose child found peace during sensory therapy. One from a widower who hadn't heard music in his home since his wife died. They asked me if I could hang them, just for a day, to remember someone. I said yes to every single one. The front porch became a shrine of sound. Dozens of chimes, each with its own pitch, its own soul. At sunset, they danced in Carusa choir of remembrance, resilience, and resistance. Reporters came. A local news segment aired the story, "Wind Chimes of Hope." Donations poured in for the music therapy group. HOA officials from other counties reached out to review their own bylaws and protections. Meanwhile, Karen's name became something of a legend, not in praise, but as a caution. The new HOA bylaws included a clause that no president could serve without board consensus. No complaint could be issued without clear documentation, and all communications must be signed by verified officials. I didn't expect change to ripple out like this. I thought I was defending a chime. I didn't realize I was defending the right to grieve in peace, to celebrate without shame, to honor memory without fear. Sometimes I still catch people pausing outside my yard, listening, breathing, smiling, and I wonder if the joy they find there was exactly what Karen feared. Because joy, real, unshakable joy, is a kind of rebellion. So, reader, I ask you once more, what does joy mean to you? And what are you willing to do to protect it?